As someone who's been perpetually online from a very young age, some of my greatest friendships and experiences have all either grown or taken place online in one way or another. It's through this reminiscing that I was reminded of a game that I hadn't necessarily forgotten about, but just hadn't even touched in years. Half-Life Opposing Force. Developed by Gearsoft under the supervision of Valve, released November 19th, 1999. Taking place during the events of Half-Life, you take control of an Adrian Shepard, a US Marine, sent on an undisclosed mission to the Black Mesa facility. And while I'd love to talk more about the Half-Life lore, I really would, that's not the topic of this video. Today, I'm after this little find server button here. What about this game could be so drawing that I'd spend every free moment available to me playing it? Opposing Force Online is solely a deathmatch game. Load in, grab some guns, ammo, and just try to get a high score and have some fun. While this could seem boring or repetitive, the weapon selection in Opposing Force is incredibly diverse. You've got your standard pistol, assault rifle, shotgun, snipers, but then you have things like the shock roach, this little alien bug that you can shoot lightning from, the spore launcher, an iguana-like creature you can feed to reload. I mean, like, look, you can even pet the little guy. That's freaking sick. The barnacle grapple, putting perhaps one of the most annoying Half-Life enemies into your hand, allowing you to grip onto your enemies and eat them. And my personal favorite, the snarks, these little crab-like roaches you can hurl at the other player that'll chase them down before eventually exploding. While the weapon variety adds a lot to the gameplay loop, the real appeal was the maps. Like almost every multiplayer source product nowadays, Opposing Force was community driven. That meant most of these maps you're playing were made by everyday people who just had a severe love for the game. The popular genre of rats maps saw you in everyday landscapes like a home, the Simpsons house, In-N-Out Burger, or even an anthill. The catch being all players are seemingly shrunk down to the size of rats, making these massive structures insanely fun to just blast around.
Oh, couldn't like get off of it.
Another big part of the Opposing Force community that really drew me in was the custom player models you could get from just joining various maps. It was always a treat to boot up Opposing Force and see a map like Five Guy Rats and join it hoping that it would actually be a Five Guys, just to be greeted by the following downloading player model 5 burger. There were so many player models for you to find and use, I mean nothing was off the table. For example, some of the ones that I have right now are Homer Simpson, Kermit the Frog, Megatron, Ghostface, and Trinity from The Matrix. The only downside of these models being that if you didn't have the model yourself, the player wearing them would just appear as the default Shepard character. That is, unless you were in a server that gave a ton of these models out, then you'd just see everyone running around as these wacky characters brawling it out for life or death. There was always one map on Opposing Force that would have a pretty decent population around it. That was Private Beach version 2. When this map was originally hosted, you get various models such as Kermit the Frog, Spongebob, a Teletubby, and more that for the life of me I cannot remember. That's not why Private Beach was popular though. While it was awesome that almost everyone was some goofy character, Private Beach was truly a unique map. While upon first glance, it doesn't seem all that special. A basic house, a pool, a beach with some water, a lighthouse tucked between it. It might even seem like a boring map, but there's so many little secrets tucked away in this map that amplify Opposing Force to some of its greatest gameplay. Throughout the house and the beach, you have enough weapons that the match will never get stale. But then you might see somebody make a jump at this cliffside just to disappear. Following the player, you're met with a control room with teleporters to different locations in the map. That was the beauty of Ooks. There was so much to discover, and maybe through seeing another player doing it you would find it, or through your own sleuthing. Each secret would just add a little bit more to how this match could be played. For example, this cave, there's a snark spawner and a chokehold with some ammo at the end, a perfect spot to catch somebody in a pretty deadly trap. But before the choke, if you press E on this wall, an area opens with a hidden long jump module. Keep walking forward though. You're met with a ladder giving you access to this hidden eagle's nest to snipe players from. Walk down this ladder to the left, and now you can use those same snarks picked up on your way here to ambush anybody trying to make their way into the house. My favorite area of the house though is definitely the bathroom. While on the surface it's nothing to talk about, walk over to the toilet and it'll descend. You're met with this little blue room and a vault door. Upon opening the door, you have some ammos, weapon, armor packs, and 2 health stations as well as 2 HEV chargers. While this is a cool little secret to be found in its own right, if you come to this wall, you'll enter this massive room full of med kits and a spawner that takes you back to the control room area. However, if you take a left, you'll find another HEV charger and this wall in which you can open. In this area, you can see through the walls of certain parts of the map and even fire the towel cannon to kill players. Going to this oddly mismatched wall, we can find a teleporter that takes us behind the wall of the control room. Yet another secret. Every secret you find in this map, there's another one inside just waiting to be discovered. Booting up this game now, there's nearly no player base to speak of, with perhaps a handful of people playing here or there. I noticed that Ook's servers are still up though, and upon joining, I saw an email address for the man himself. Wanting to preserve what's left of this game, I decided I'd shoot my shot and send him an email asking for an interview. While I eagerly awaited his reply, I decided to invite some of my friends to hop on a server with me and play some opposing force for old time's sake.
I heard
You little bastard. You didn't kill me with them, I just saw you put down like 80.
I was just running away.
What was it? There was like 6, right?
And honestly, we had a blast. We spent the afternoon doing what me and the same friend did back then, just scouring the maps for secrets, equipping new player models, and just killing each other in incredibly stupid and creative ways. But it really got me thinking though. We only ever started playing the game back then because it's what our very low-end PCs could run. It got me thinking about how we use our home phones to talk to each other while we played online because neither of us had microphones at that time. And how at that time I'd just recently moved a couple 100 miles away from this friend. And this was our only real way to bond and keep in touch. And how after 13 years of me purchasing it and 23 years after its release, here I was with the same friend having the same fun on a game that is probably the only reason we still talk to this day. Albeit now on Discord rather than getting the worst neck cramps from holding a phone between our neck and our shoulder all day. How'd you get into mapping? Did you ever continue mapping for other games, or was GoldSrc your sweet spot?
I actually started mapping before GoldSrc was a thing. It all started back around the year 1999 or so. I purchased a video card, and with this video card came a demo disc of this quirky game called Half-Life. So one day I was bored, looking for something to do, and decided to give this game a shot. So I started it up. Good morning and welcome to Black Mesa Transit System. By the time I got to now arriving at Sector C test labs and control facility, I was mesmerized. I think that was when my addiction to gaming really started. So in time, I discovered online servers where we could run around and kill each other. I dived into deathmatch with gusto, and at one time was in the top 10. I never made it to number 1, but for a while, I was pretty good. I could win more rounds than not. Then I discovered opposing force and capture the flag online gameplay. And that was when I discovered 1, I could run my own server and run whatever maps I wanted. And 2, I could make my own maps, and maybe people would play on them. My first server was started up about the year 2002 or so, and for a while I ran plain, ordinary Half-Life deathmatch servers. I was also on the Hardcore Life deathmatch mod team, but sadly we lost our programmer and the mod never got past a few betas. I then formed the Dead Ice mod team, but real life intervened and that never got past a beta either. I was returned to mapping after these endeavors. I did look into mapping for other games, but never really got into them. My first and only love was Half-Life.
When was the first iteration of Private Beach originally launched?
It was about the year 2005, maybe sooner. I liked the map and it was popular among my player base. So for reasons I don't remember, I decided to dedicate a server to it.
Was Private Beach inspired by anything in particular?
Contrary to popular belief, I didn't create Private Beach, and I have no idea where I got it from. I've never met anyone that would take credit for the first version. Back then I collected any maps I could find, and to this day I still have about 2,500 maps in my collection. Private Beach was just some random map that I found it.
Out of all of the iterations of Private Beach, which is your favorite?
I took the original map and edited some of the entities, adding teleporters and a few more weapons. This is the version I still run on my server, and I think it's still my favorite. I did create a new map, Private Beach version 4, loosely based on the original Private Beach, but by this time interest in Half-Life and Op4 online gaming was wanting. And it never really became popular. I still cycle it on my Private Beach server, and while no one complains about it, I think the original Private Beach is still the best.
You currently host 4 of the 26 active servers on Opposing Force. Do you still have an interest in keeping these servers open to the public?
Well, I figure as long as people will play on them, I'll keep running them. One of them is a classic Op4 map server that someone requested a few years ago. One cycles my own maps, for better or for worse. One is seasonal, and I think it's cycling Christmas maps, and of course there's the Private Beach server.
You've developed a lot of maps in general. What would you say your favorite is?
My first map was Ook Hoover. It was loosely based on Hoover Dam, which was a 20-minute drive from where I lived at the time. It had a subway that circled the entire map, several secrets, and overall was just plain fun. Although my later maps were technically better, Ook Hoover still remains my favorite.
What games are you playing nowadays?
Factorio, No Man's Sky, Slime Rancher, 2 Point Hospital, and Raft to name a few. I hop around from game to game depending on what kind of a mood I'm in. I don't really play the P2P games anymore. Sadly, I'm not as young or as fast as I used to be, and just can't keep up with the younger players.
What's your favorite secret/Easter egg on the maps?
There's a room behind a big wall on one side of the map. You can't see it from outside, but you can hookshot into it if you know where the windows are. It's a great place for a sniper to hide. It's also quite popular, so you have to defend yourself while trying to snipe people. There's a hidden place along the back wall where you can hide and snipe the people coming into the main room.
What are you up to these days?
Just chilling, living life, and getting older. Today I'm a computer programmer. I've been programming computers for 40 years. Retirement is approaching. I wasn't that young when I started mapping and hosting servers, and sadly, I'm not getting any younger.
Thinking back to how I only started playing Opposing Force out of it being the only thing that me and my friend could run, we were definitely lucky that it was such a good game, which is also kind of disheartening to see it on its last legs out. I guess what I'm trying to say here is maybe go boot up that old game that you and your boys haven't played in a while. You may never know if you'll get to do it again. Thank you everybody for watching.